Hi, this is Ron Nutter. Taking a break from doing some of the videos that I've been posting for my next book, The Pocket Troubleshooter, to help those of you who haven't found that right gift or that something a little bit extra for that special person for Father's Day, which is just coming around the corner. One of the first things that we're going to talk about is a cable tester that will be good for you when you've got one of those large screen TVs and you got a satellite receiver or one or other devices plugged in. And this is an HDMI cable tester. It comes in two separate pieces. You can either test an entire cable using just this end. You'll plug one into the cable here and one into the cable here. Or if the cable's already installed and you think you've got a problem, then one of the cable goes into main, the other goes into the remote. You've got a 9-volt battery that goes here. Plug the cable in, you turn it on, and within about a second it will have tested all the different pins and wires in the cable. And if the cable's good, a little blue light, which is the second one right here, comes on and you're good to go. If there's any cabling problem, a light will show up where it says open and it will show you the wires that are possibly a problem. This is very handy to have when you're troubleshooting like a satellite receiver problem, or suddenly the satellite receiver doesn't want to turn on, because I've run into this personally. And after an hour and a half on the phone with the satellite provider's tech support people, they started blaming my TV. I didn't quite buy that that was it, and process of elimination, I found out it was a bad cable. I unplugged it from the satellite receiver. It came online the way it was supposed to. I happened to have a spare cable, but that was an hour and a half I could have saved myself in being able to test it in just a few minutes. Now that's about $20 on Amazon. So not going to break the wallet, but especially if the kids are looking for something for dad, that there is at least an option that they can pool their money together, or maybe they can do some extra chores around the house. Now this next one is going to test a network cable. This is what looks like a rectangular type connector that looks very similar to a phone line connector, but it's a little bit wider. It's got about 8 pins. And this is something that more and more devices are starting to use. I've seen Blu-ray players use it so they can get their firmware updates. Sometimes they'll have special programs running within them that you need to get updates for. So in this case, just like the other one, 9-volt battery goes in the back. One end of the cable goes here. One end goes here. And this, just like the other one, detaches, so you don't have to completely remove the cable out. You'll turn it to either on or to the S position, which is a slow scan, and what you'll want to look for is pins 1 through 6 at a minimum, but really it should show all 8 pins, because that's for Ethernet, and especially at gigabit speeds, that's going to be important. Ground is probably not going to turn on. What you're looking for is a 1-to-1 pin relationship, and this is something that, especially in home networks, this is all you really need to troubleshoot most of the wiring problems, because I've got a very expensive piece of test equipment. When it was new, it was $20,000. I don't use it that often. It's more this little gem that I use. Again, $8 on Amazon, so it's not going to hurt the pocketbook too badly. It's another one that the kids can afford if they haven't come up with something for dad. Now this next one is something that maybe you're helping a friend out, because if you've ended up like I am, you may be the tech support person for not only your family but some of your friends, and you never know when you may need something like this. And what we've got in this case is an external DVD drive, because sometimes, some of the newer computers are not coming with this kind of thing, and as you can see, it's very compact, very thin, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of room. But I like to have everything that I have in terms of tools have its own protected case, because even though this is only about $25 on Amazon, still, I want to take care of things. There's only 2 things you'll need to look at on this one. The USB cable plugs in here, and they do ship it with USB cable, so a smaller end goes in here, the other end goes into whatever computer you're working on. And if you happen to leave a CD or DVD in here, make sure that you remember that little hole and have a paper clip nearby, because that little hole and a paper clip will get the drive to open up so that you don't have to plug it back in and get power so you can always get that media back out. The case I got with it is one from a company called, I believe it's Ladco. I've got links to it in the show notes, or will shortly after this video gets up. This has got room for several other DVDs, so some of the troubleshooting tools that I'll be carrying with me from time to time, I'll go ahead and have on a CD or DVD in here. This one came with the LG drive, so I've got some ways of duplicating media there, but there's always, as I say, more than one option. Now this next one, and the case is about $12, $13, so it's not real expensive. Now this one is going to be a little more expensive, but still, it's well worth it. And how would you like to be the one that can carry a toolkit like this, and it has most of the connectors you need for opening up some computers, but it also will do some smartphones. It's handy for a lot of things that are coming with either some very specialized bits or very small ones that are hard to find. Now, this is from the folks at iFixit. Again, this is available on Amazon. It's about $70 depending on how you have it shipped to you, but this is something that is very handy to have, and it is well worth having for that person that helps you fix everything. There's a little strip here that makes sure that you are grounded when you're working on a larger device like a laptop or a desktop computer. This may not get used a whole lot unless you're working with doing some sort of cell phone or tablet repair where you got to replace the glass. These are some little pry bars. There's actually a better name for them, but that's the best thing that you kind of remember them as, that will help you pop open the device. Here are some other pieces that can help you pry the chassis apart. There are 3 very special tweezers in here, because when you start getting inside electronics, you want to make sure you're not going to be doing any sort of operation that will induce any shock, electrical shock, because you can damage some things. And these are actually glass-filled tools that you can get in, help us open up some devices or pry a cable apart. And then this is a metal spudger. Again, this one may not be something you use a whole lot unless you're trying to get a cable loose or you start taking apart a display, which not everybody will do that. Now, this one is called the Jimmy tool. And I've actually had to use this one. One time I was taking a laptop apart, and I actually used this to gradually pop the bottom part of the laptop away from the keyboard piece, and finally did get it open. And then I found out why it was rather challenging to get into. Now, this part is the one that will probably get used the most. And the beauty of this, there's no clasps or hinges or anything to worry about getting broke. This is all held together with magnets in each of these 4 corners. And we'll get back to the lid in just a moment. There are 64 bits in here. It comes with a handy little screwdriver, because this is on a swivel, so you can keep the right amount of pressure you want to on here. Just put your bits in there and you work right on something. And there is actually then an angled extension, so that will get the right end in here. And then you put your bit in there, so you can be turning this with one hand while you're holding it to where the bit will get its best angle to do what it needs to do, so you can still open and close things and get bits in and out. All the different bits are labeled in here. You've got your security Torx bits, you've got some very small bits, you've got the Phillips, your straight blades, you have, you name it, you've got here even some small nut drivers. So there's pretty much, when you get into working with the electronic sides of things, you should be able to do just about anything you want to. And this is from the folks at iFixit. They have actually designed this kit because they use it when they do their own teardown videos showing you how to do your own repairs. Now, this is the part that I've really gotten a lot of use out of. And it initially doesn't make a lot of sense why they'd have all this ribbing in here. Well, this actually can be a very good way to keep all those pesky little screws and pieces when you're taking something apart all separated, so they don't go rolling off the table or getting mixed around. So you can get things pretty much separated as best you want to. And if you've got some metal pieces that really you want to keep this for just the screws, then the bit kit will detach, because all this is one big magnet. So if you have to take little metal pieces off that are not screws, or you want to keep this for just screws, then you can do that here, because there's a magnet sheet on the back, and that's how the two of these are kept together. So like I said, this is, you know, of the things I've shown you so far, this is a little more expensive, but still for what it is, it's quality bits. I've yet to get one to strip, so it is well worth the price on it. And there's a whole other set of tools from the folks at iFix as well, depending on what your special guy on Father's Day is getting into. If you don't see anything what I've shown you so far that really is something you think they'd like, your other option, and this is something if you get down to the last minute and you still haven't found what you want, is Amazon has an e-gift card that you can get and get downloaded right away, or actually would show up in the email box that you specify. And sometimes that's the best way to go. You can let the recipient choose whatever they want, because sometimes some people are just not that easy to shop for. So that's another option as well, and that's item number 5. There will be links as soon as the video gets uploaded. I'll get those in the show notes, where you can click on anything that's there and take you right to the page where you can purchase it. If there's anything you'd like to see me talk about, if it's a possible Father's Day gift or gifts for other occasions, please reach out to me. You can get a hold of me through either Facebook or YouTube, and I'll be glad to take a look at it and tell you what I think of it. Because if it's not something that I think you ought to fool with, I'll tell you that. But it's, so far, I've been very selective on what I have looked at, and I've yet to be disappointed. And which is another benefit of being careful when you buy things, especially, you know, getting it from a source that you don't have any problems in returning it. Well, don't mean to ramble on, but thank you very much for your time, and hopefully one of my suggestions will help you out on Father's Day. If you think you've got a friend who might like to know about some of this, please feel free to share this out to them, because I just want to help people be able to get something nice for the person that's, you know, it's going to be on their special day, and get them something that maybe they might not have thought about, and they may not even know that they need some of this. So thank you for your time, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.